Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by my friend, my companion, my duo. You already know the vibe, Ben JC. Ben, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Tom. Busy day at work. Actually, like the weather is starting to be good in Columbus. I just found out that apparently, like when you live in Columbus, one of the rainiest parts of the country, and it's actually sunny and nice outside. And
Columbus.
I have a lot of windows up in my apartment. I don't know if you see like a lot of natural sunlight going on here, so it's good, man. I'm vibing.
Wait,
Excited. We got matches coming tomorrow, and we got a big piece of news to talk
did
about
you just
today.
say Columbus is the rainiest spot in the
Yeah,
country?
is that
It's
I'm gonna
cap?
have to call that an
Apparently,
absolute bin
apparently,
fact and
Ohio
not
gets a lot of rain.
Okay, well,
Apparently
guys, we
that's
also
true.
have Aches in the call with us, so welcome Aches to The Flank. And I don't know who else is in here. Is Parasite in here? We got Parasite, we have Aches, and Deej. How you doing, Deej?
Hey, how you doing? And Seattle's the rainiest in the United States.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it Seattle?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Ohio, bro. I didn't think it was the rainiest spot in the U.S.
Yeah, that confuses me a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. Obviously, a lot of news is hitting the fan, right? With Huke and him getting back on the starting roster. We all know 100 Thieves. They updated their roster again. There's a lot of controversy with Huke over at Dallas, and then coming to 100 Thieves, and then he ended up getting dropped or benched, and now he finds himself back on the team. So the team they changed, right? The team is now what? It's Slasher, Kenny, Huke, and TJ, right? That was the team that they announced. I mean, to kick things off, I just want to get your initial thoughts on the team. Ben, we'll start with you.
Well, we talked about it on past shows that they have a deep bench through all of the moves that they made so far this year, and recently, they had a really good run when they had that really young squad. What was it? Venom, Draza, Kenny, and who was the fourth on that team?
What? The Draza,
Before,
Kenny,
before, yeah, who was the fourth? It was
Venom, and Tej. What do you mean?
yeah, Venom and Teach, and they had that really good run at stage 2, and then they made another change. They brought in Huke after the Dallas situation, and then it went downhill. They made another change, and they haven't been playing well. And so this is the one rotation of players that kind of haven't tried yet. We can pull up like the Nate Shaw tweets and some of the other tweets from the 100 Thieves camp. Their focus is on LAN. And so they've gone with a team that has a lot of LAN experience. The roles kind of actually make a lot of sense with this lineup. You have Tej and Huke as your subs. You have Kenny as that like second AR, and you have Austin as that main.
Yep.
It makes a lot. If their team finally makes a lot of sense of roles, so I think they've done that. The other stuff I'm curious about with this team. So one piece is how will this team fare across all 3 game modes? Right? Is this team going to continue to be like they were when it was a similar lineup with Donnie, that they were decent in S&D in a couple of maps and not so good at the rest, and the respawn was kind of all over the place? That is a big thing I am going to take a look at, and probably a big focus point for this team this last week of the stage and then going into the LAN event. And the second thing for them, and I actually think part of the reason they made this change is they pretty much have their champ spot locked. Like we've talked about how 8 to 9, like there's a
Yeah,
huge
it's
gap
locked.
there.
It's
Like
locked.
they're good. What they wanted to probably try and do is get at least one good run in so they can jump up in the order. So I'm
Yeah,
very
but
curious.
to interrupt you there,
Go ahead.
didn't Cap say? I believe it was Cap, might have been someone else.
Yeah.
That the roster that they just had right before this last change
Yeah.
was the last roster they were having for the end of the year.
Yeah, that was something that he said in a tweet, I believe. Which when we kind of covered it on the show, Pat, like Tom and I didn't think that was going to stick. Like we felt like with the
Well,
6-man, they were going to kind of probably rotate a couple of times to figure out what their best 4 was.
I mean, look, I personally think, and obviously I have a different mindset on how team changes go, but I feel like none of these, like outside of the first team that they had with Donnie, none of these rosters that they've had have had a real chance, in my opinion.
At
There's just
winning,
been-
you're saying? At winning.
No.
Like,
Well, no. I should say like
a real chance in what?
at like finding out how good that 4 is gonna be. I feel like there's been so many fast changes and like just role switches and this and that. I just feel like they've been way too aggressive on their roster change, and in my opinion, I would probably argue that those were like Cap trying to make the best team he could make on that roster, which is obviously his job to do.
Yeah.
But this, in my eyes, when I look at this change, this is where, and like I could be completely wrong, but I look at this change and I think for the first time on this team, Cap's decision making was not
Yeah.
like overruled, but I think it was weighted less because I think with Land coming back,
Yeah.
that is the only reason this roster is what this roster is
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, 100%.
That's
I
the
agree.
only reason I think it
I
was.
agree.
I think
Yeah.
it was like, look, we're paying these players this amount of money. We're going to Land. We're going to go with the people who have fucking performed on Land and that we're paying the money to.
Yeah,
Period.
looking at this team on paper, this just looks like a roster that you would actually like formulate, like if you were like actually trying to be a championship caliber team. Yeah, like not even just this year, like even going forward. Like these are all really
I mean,
storied
this is
players,
like the
really
team they
talented
wanted from the
players.
beginning.
The roles make sense.
This type it was Tej, Austin, Ken needing a superstar SMG, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with how the roster mania went down last year, they didn't get who they wanted, right? And they ended up getting Donnie last minute, because the whole Optic to LA or transition was happening and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so 100T was a little late to the ball game, and so this is the roster that they wanted in some sort of like star power of all four guys from the get go.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean the main thing for me was bringing Slasher back in. I had a feeling they were gonna bring Slasher back in with with it going back to Land and everything, and just with the recent failures the team has been having. Like, I mean, let's be honest, they haven't been looking good in terms of like who they actually are as players, and everything on paper. I mean, this team on paper I think is the best team they can make. No, if you're looking at everybody that they have, would you guys agree that this is the best team on paper they could probably make?
Oh yeah, without
Yeah,
without
in terms
question.
of history and just star power, yeah, it
Mhm.
sucks for Draws and Venom because we haven't got to see them on Land, and I also think they're both CDL caliber players.
Yeah.
It's just being on a team with that deep of a bench. It's always going to be difficult to
Yeah.
find your place on the roster.
And I think for me, what really threw me off is Huke coming back in. I mean, I was completely wrong. I mean, there was a couple weeks, like 2-3 weeks ago, where I was like, "There's no way they bring Huke back in. I
Yeah.
don't see this ever happening." I was wrong. I mean, I'll just flat out say it. I was just straight wrong. I can't believe he's back in the lineup. I'm very excited that he's back in the lineup because I think he's a very good player. I mean, I said on the last show I think they should bring Huke back in. I'm mind blown it actually happened, to be honest.
I have the same mindset you do, which is why I said what I said earlier, which is I think this was a veto power situation where it was like, look, we paid a fuck ton of money for this guy. He is a very good player. We're going back to Land. This just needs to happen. Period.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
looks like from the outside to me.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. I didn't think prior. If the rest of this year was online, I think they probably kept the same roster that they had.
Yeah, it was very weird. I mean, regardless, they were probably screaming today. I'm not really sure how they did, but I mean, on paper the roster looks good to me. It looks strong.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be about them executing now. Like they need to come out. They need to put all the problems that they had aside. Go back, make sure they're practicing, make sure they're going hard, and just try and make something at the end of this year. The good thing for them is, they are qualified for champs pretty much, right? Like they are looking good to.
Yeah, they want a good seed though, so like there's an
Yeah, I
onus to
mean-
do well in the next couple of majors. My other thing with this lineup is that this is also one of the like with the recent iterations that they've had this year. Like I feel like this was closest to the roster they wanted to build at the beginning of the year.
Mhm.
Like they basically are where they started minus temp plus Huke. And I know Donnie tweeted about it as well. He replied like basically like whatever the text version of that Cam Newton gif is, where Cam Newton does the nod and he walks away. That's what Donnie did with for show.
Is that what
was
he's doing?
basically-
I didn't really get it.
Yeah,
to be
that was
honest.
basically like I think kind of the reference a little bit on Donnie's side. But the roles kind of work here. I just think it comes down to the chemistry stuff. We've talked about this with a lot of teams. Like if this team is dedicated to winning and they figure out how to grind with the system and they don't eat each other alive from the inside, like there's a lot of room for them to run up the board here. Like Tom, you and I have talked about like right now, the three teams that are probably consistent championship contenders, because I don't want to offend Optic fans out there, is New York, Toronto, and FaZe. And then the next step up is Optic, who we know can make finals, but they haven't done it yet this year, and Florida, who probably have worked themselves into a conversation the last 2 weeks.
I think it's FaZe in a tier of their own, and then it's New York, Toronto, Optic. Like,
I think that's fair.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
fair.
I think you could put Optic in there. I think you could put those three in the same
I think
tier, and then
Optic should
FaZe
be
is on
there.
just a tier of their own.
I think
In my
it's funny,
opinion.
Yeah,
as
go
funny
ahead.
as it is to say, I think this team is going to have a really good honeymoon phase for reasons of the fact that Land's coming back. So I think it's going to cause motivation for them and confidence in general for them. Like, I think they got one more weekend of online matches, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they go to LAN.
Yep.
So yeah, I think they're gonna have a great honeymoon phase. I could be wrong, but I think the issue with this roster to begin was just kind of like that drag, right, of getting like unmotivated. I think that's why Slasher got put to the side of just like whatever. So I think if he comes back and if he performs the way Austin should, and they're all properly motivated and excited to play or whatever,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I think this
We
should
need
be
to
a
see
big
Kyler
dark
perform
horse.
too.
Well,
we need
yeah,
to see
I
Kyler
mean- I
perform
mean, let's
because the
be
last
honest.
few he hasn't been playing the best.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if you watched Kyler's video today, right? Like, I think he kind of spoke out on a lot of stuff where he was just like, kind of had a lot on his mind and a lot on his shoulders.
Yeah.
If you look at him at making that video and getting a lot of that shit off his chest and kind of coming back with like a fresh mentality and mindset, then
Mhm.
I think he should perform a lot better. Because I mean, he's obviously an insanely talented player. It's not like he's never been like lack of talent has never been used with his name.
Yeah.
So one thing with Kyler, one thing I wanted to do was like talk to people who had been on his ex teams, players, coaches, management, and like understand if this like Krim's thing about look at the mini map, is this like a short term thing with Kyler, or is he always kind of been this way? And the sense I got is Kyler is like a lot of superstar players we have seen come through in the league, where you need to work your system around him. If you're trying to right size him into a piece in a system, it may not fit the decision making that he makes on the map. And I think that they struggled to deal with that at Dallas. And I think he talked about it a little bit in the video. The other piece, and Tommy, I think you and I have alluded to it quite a few times on the show in the last like month and a half since the change went down, was that it seems like with Clay leaving the team, it became that 1v3 dynamic that has happened
Yeah, the whole
to a
culture was
million
off.
Call of Duty teams over the year.
No,
where
it was,
something-
Pat. It was the whole.
No. Let me speak on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you're right in a sense, but you're also wrong in a sense.
Okay.
Going from 5v5 to 4v4, the roles change, right? There's a mentality change on like Kyler just can't, like in 5v5 he could just go rogue, right? Do whatever he wanted to do on the map, and it was almost a benefit no matter what he did. And you're right in the sense that Kyler isn't gonna work into another team's system.
Yeah.
And I learned this the hard way when we took our EG 2018 team, which was a very system oriented team. We went to Envy to play with Kyler, and we tried to keep keeping that system mindset of playing, which obviously wasn't very good in BO4 regardless. But the point is, like, he was obviously the most talented on our team, and like we kind of slowly learned that like we just have to play around him, and that's how our mindset has to be. And so I think going into a 4v4 game and you're getting, Krim and Ray, which I would assume is a lot of their conversation on how they want to play.
Yeah.
Trying to discuss the way they want to play. Because, I mean, if we've learned anything over the years, there's so many different ways to play now. You just have to all be on the same page.
Yeah.
And I think you're right that, like, he didn't like that system, and he's not going to perform well in that system, period. It's just not going to happen. It's just not how he plays Call of Duty.
You're saying,
But do you think like the interactions between him, like he talked about in the video that he felt like they were kind of singling him out. He felt like it was just a really wonky relationship. He felt like they never really did any good mediation to try and find a middle ground. And then he talked about in the video that they beat Paris. He put some positive vibes. And then he had that thing that happened where, everybody knows a change is coming and he gets egoed. And then management comes to him and says, hey, this is what's happening. Like, what are your thoughts on that, Pat?
I mean, that's kind of how every roster change goes when it's if you're a team and you think, right, as a team, you start making those conversations without him where you're like, all right, well, I think he is causing this to be wrong on our team, blah, blah, blah. That's just kind of it's just kind of how teams are gonna.
It doesn't make it right though.
Yeah, it's not right, but I'm saying that's always been the case. So I'm not gonna act like he was some special case situation where it only happened to him, because that's happened to a ton of people. It's just kind of how roster changes go down at points, right? But
Hey,
I do think that he has a very different approach to how a team should function in terms of like out of game and every moment that you're not playing Call of Duty. And I got a little bit a taste of this in 2019 when I teamed with him, where he wants to be like really good friends with his teammates, right? Like he wants to have like a bond that's more than just teammates, and he believes that that creates a better dynamic for everyone to play well. And like knowing Krim, I don't necessarily say Krim disagrees with that, but that's not really what Krim cares about, right? Like you could be worst enemies outside of the game, but when you come to play, you should always be playing correct and playing how you've discussed, and that's all that should matter. Within the moments of playing the game, everything else, the outside shit shouldn't play a factor because you're there, you're making money, and you're there to win, and that's the bottom line. So I think those had a different mindset.
Yeah, but
for
the only
sure.
disconnect there, Pat, is that Kyler, I feel like, felt like he wasn't respected. Like even him, right? Like when he's in game and he sees something and he says something, it goes through one ear out the other. He feels like he's always getting shut down. Because I've talked to Kyler, and I've
wouldn't you say that that's probably the fact that Krim and Ray had the majority voice on that team and they wanted to play a certain way?
But that's a problem, though. Like if you don't respect
if
you don't respect your own superstar player and don't listen to anything he has to say, and you make him feel like he's a fucking asshole, then that's why Kyler's all pissed off. That's why Kyler feels like he has no respect, and that's why he loses his shit. It's like Kyler shouldn't be treated like that. I don't give a fuck who the fuck you are. I don't give a fuck if you're Crim 6, you have 30 fucking million fucking events. Nobody gives a shit. At the end of the day, you got a superstar player who helped you win a world championship last year, and he was coming in this year doing his thing. And at the end of the day, you don't talk to him like you're a piece of shit. You know, you talk to him like you're.
we don't know how he was being talked to though.
I'm
right?
just saying, based off from what I've heard from Kyler and what I'm watching in this video, the kid looked depressed. The kid didn't look like he wanted to be there. It looked like he had no respect. It looked like nobody cared for him. It seemed like they put him down more than they brought him up. That's unacceptable.
I'm not going to fully get on that side of it because I've teamed with him. I just think he's, that's just how he interpreted it. Like,
I personally,
I
don't like that.
Because they very well could have.
Hold on.
But it seems like it was like that doesn't seem realistic to me to the extent that it was said.
No, but the thing is, before someone gets benched, usually, at least in a lot of cases, there's always this weird animosity where like people treat your mistakes a lot different than other people's were treated. Like it's happened in my career before.
Yeah.
Anybody that's been benched, like there is different energy towards different people about certain things, right? Like, let's say player A makes one mistake, it's like whatever, like my bad. Player B makes the mistake, it's a whole fucking ordeal. And that sort of sounds like what Kyler was going through. And as soon as that happens, you're being scapegoated. Like they're talking behind your back, and that's just what's going on. Like they're already blaming you for something, and now every single time you fuck up, it's just furthering their agenda.
Yeah, no, I agree with you because I've been a part of that myself. And I even when I used to have a really, really terrible attitude, I would do the same thing, being one of those players that's very adamant about how I want to play the game and how I want to build a system. And just going back to what how Kyler was feeling, like regardless if you agree with it, Pat, in terms of like, oh, you don't need to have this relationship with your teammates, you don't have to do this, blah blah blah. It should just come down to.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm just saying that's how I think he feels versus like other people could feel differently.
Gotcha. But the whole point is like, your superstar player, your friend, your teammate that you obviously should have respect for, regardless of how you're going about the situation. If you're making them feel this type of way, you should do something to remedy the situation. Like you shouldn't just let it, simmer.
Yeah, but I don't want to because like I feel like when we talk about this, we're scapegoating one person, and it's Krim. And for me to think about that logically, I just can't see that playing out the way that you guys are explaining it.
I'm not even saying it's one person though, Ian, because
but like look at who's on that team. Where is Ilya and Shotzi in this? These guys are like,
that's what I'm trying to say.
That's kind of where I was
this is what I think. I think they are playing a lot bigger factor than like we're being led to believe, because obviously the easy scapegoat here is like, oh, Krim was treating Kyler poorly. Oh, Ray might have been treating. That's what you want to think, but it's like Kyler brought those two guys who were his age group, which I think is really important, onto that team early, and they're 50% of the team. So where are they in this? Because I can't imagine those guys not respecting Kyler.
Yes, I agree with you. It's one of those things where it's like, by doing nothing, assuming that's one of the issues, they're a part of the problem. And that just comes down to a team culture thing. Like you need to be able to have this relationship with your teammates where you respect them. And if somebody's getting out of line and obviously doing something to make somebody that's feel a certain way or perform a certain way, they need to say something. And that
My
just goes
thing
down
is-
to every
Do you-
team.
But
I
how,
hope-
how,
I
do-
don't-
go
how,
ahead,
do- how
Tim.
do we know they're
I
not a
hope
part
this-
of that conversation?
I
though?
hope. No, I
We
mean,
don't,
hold on.
but
They
I'm-
could be.
the
Hold on,
whole-
hold on.
yeah,
It's
go ahead,
also.
go ahead,
I hope this was already said. Kyler gave us one side of a story. I'm not
Yeah.
saying anything about it's wrong. I only watched half the video so far.
That's
But-
why I said not to.
but-
we can't
but
like fully
there is,
say that's
like,
the fact.
Like we have one side of a story right now. So to talk like everything is fact is.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're not. I'm
No,
not. Even,
I mean that's
I'm not even
100%
talking-
facts, bro. That's,
Yeah,
I said the same thing
you're
before.
right. You're right, Zin. But I'm not specifically talking about this situation because Pat was saying how this happens. You know, the whole thing where people get blindsided and roster changes happen and people get benched and stuff like that.
Once it's decided on it, this is what happens for sure.
Exactly, but like this happens a lot of the time, and what I'm trying to say is that's not okay, and it's not coming down to one. I'm not talking about this situation specific where it's like, oh, it's this guy and this guy and this guy. No, I'm saying this is an issue that teams and players need to come together and start fixing some of these issues because like having this happen is just it's not good for the scene, and two, like this is just another example of cultures in COD that
Yeah.
are constantly happening in league teams, and this is a reason why a lot of these teams don't succeed, and a lot of these teams that have like all these superstar players and stuff like that you would think would perform pretty well, a lot of it doesn't happen because of shit like this and egos that collide, and then people end up getting blindsided here and there, and then little clicks happen, and then you get the whole point. It's
But
not just coming down to this situation. It's just
I think that's
as a whole.
So two levels to this conversation because I want to kind of move it somewhere else because
Go
I
ahead.
think so levels is I think when we talk about these general things, I think this not only applies to esports but these are like problems that we see like in pro sports. How do you create squad harmony to hit your ceiling and maybe overperform a bit? My second question to you guys, and we've talked about this a couple times on the show, but I think it's definitely like a point to make today. Do you guys think that with Clay leaving the team, and we can sit here and talk about the validity of them picking him over Ender or whoever, and we can do that till we're blue in the face. But do you think that leaving this void of leadership just to Crim created a situation that prevented them from really creating the harmony they had last year when they all had a chip on their shoulder? Crim had gotten dropped from Optic. Clay's old team had broken up, and he didn't go along with them. Like all of the pieces that went into that created this sort of drive they had. And then this year they kind of had to deal with, well, now we have to defend our crown, and everybody's gunning for us because we were the number one team last year.
I mean, I don't think that matters. I don't think you
I don't
go
know if Clay
into a
was like
new
such
year.
a big deal.
Yeah.
Bro, they
I
were
don't-
placing second and third.
Yeah. Like I
they
don't
were
know if
still
Clay
the
was the one just
second-best
keeping them
team
together
for the first,
like that.
4 months of this game or 3 months, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I don't think Clay not being on that team, I don't think it changed their dynamic. I just think the 5v5 to 4v4 thing changed their dynamic more than anything else of just having an extra voice. I don't think Clay specifically did anything out of his, way to make Kyler feel more or less comfortable than he did. And I also don't think that they're thinking like, oh, like this is extra stress on us to defend our crown or whatever. I don't think that was playing a factor. Or at least I would hope not in any of their mind. But I mean, Ray, in my opinion, Rambo has a very similar, and I could be wrong, right? I haven't talked to Ray or been around Ray in a long time, but in from what I've used to know, Rambo had a very similar mindset that TP did, where they're gonna be neutral voices. At least this is what my thought process of them was, a few years ago, where he's gonna be very neutral. So that's why I'm having a hard time believing that Ray is gonna. Let's just hypothetically say that it was Crim ganging up on Kyler or Crim whatever that it kind of made it seem like. I have a very hard time believing that Ray, the person he is, he's a super mature dude, is going to side with Crim and continue to like make it seem like one person is the problem. Like Ray's not, I can't see Ray letting that happen. So that's why I don't think that this Clay thing mattered, because Rambo was obviously there last year as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think.
And he joined in the middle of the season, right? I don't think he started working with them.
I think it was pretty early. It was like March, right?
Yeah. Well, the season already started at that point. Like they were 3 or 4 months in.
Yeah, they were that, but they started a little slow and then got way better, right? Like with Ray. Ray was their first event win.
Well, they were frying. I mean, the only thing was like they were crushing people in scrims last year, right? In the beginning of the year, and then they went to that first land.
People this year. That's why.
And this year too. And they were the issue for them is I think their team started to spiral when they really couldn't crack that like ceiling, right? They couldn't beat like a phase, for example, and they felt like they had kind of tapped what was ever there. But I want to circle back to your original point, Pat, which is I agree, and that's what's always confused me about the situation, because I would have thought that Ray could help kind of prevent some of the cracks from surfacing with the team in this 4v4 situation, and clearly that didn't happen to some level, and
look, bro,
it kind of came to a head.
I think this M4 meta ended, and they got worse. Period. They got worse. They were very good when that was the meta.
But they weren't that bad when they dropped.
They weren't that bad.
They weren't that bad when they dropped Kyler.
Wait,
they were a top 3, top 4 team.
Yeah, exactly. My thing is
no. I'm saying before they dropped Kyler, when the roster changed, when the meta changed, that was still their roster with Kyler, and they got worse. And I think they just started overanalyzing what made them worse.
That's why I'm saying they should have.
They believed that Kyler was playing wrong. I mean, you've seen the rumor going around that Kyler was taking dumb routes or whatever was said.
Can we talk about this video, man? We're going in fucking circles, bro. Let's talk about this fucking video. Let's talk about this Huke video, because I'm really pissed off right now, bro. And I don't know about you guys, but a lot of people can
talk about it.
Listen,
we're talking about.
No, I want to talk about what the fuck just happened. I want to talk about why everybody's flipping the fuck out, bro.
Okay,
all these fucking
clips.
We
know what you want to talk about.
All these fucking Reddit posts, all these clips, listen, bro, I'm really pissed off right now, man. I'm pissed off. I'm fucking pissed. To make me feel like I'm a problem here, it really pissed me off. It really did. I mean, dude, that shit hit me, man. That shit hit me. That's not cool, bro. That's not cool. Huke came out with a video, right? Huke. He made a video. He started talking about everything. Before we even went live with the show, Aches, you were tweeting about it. Chance was tweeting about his Adderall usage. Fucking, the key word right here is Adderall. That's what we're talking about today. Adderall. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. Find me. All right? Find me. Fucking don't work with me ever again. Toss me to the side. I don't care. Because me as a person, I keep my pride, bro. I keep my pride. And that shit's I don't like to be told what to do when I'm not the cause of this shit. All right? I'm not the cause of this shit, bro. That shit, I have people saying stupid shit to me, calling me soft, and saying that's ridiculous, bro. Ben, you can leave the call if you want, but
I mean, I don't really want to kind of go to this topic, but if you want to go off, I'll leave and you guys can discuss it.
I'm very annoyed. I don't like being told that I can't do this or I can't do that.
Are you going into it on this show? Because if so, I gotta leave. So
go ahead, leave if you want to leave. I'm just saying, I'm very annoyed that Huke were to say something. I'll go full screen. I'm very annoyed that Huke came out and he said something, right? Huke came out and said something, and now everybody on Twitter and everybody here is talking about it. Everybody here's got their opinion on things. And I gotta be quiet? I gotta be silenced? What am I supposed to do? How are you gonna make me seem like a fucking asshole by doing absolutely nothing? I haven't done anything.
All right, well, Tommy, I think the point you're making is what I kind of said earlier, is that Huke made this video. He felt the need to come out and get this shit off his chest. He put it out there into the world. It's out there, period. There's no reason that, people shouldn't speculate on what this means going forward. And I think that's where you're pissed off, is because this is obviously a huge ordeal, something that's been discussed for a very long time. And finally someone stepped up to the plate and, admitted it was a problem for them, and that, they're past it now and they're doing much better. But it opens the conversation for, well, what the fuck is going to be done about it?
Yeah, this is important. It starts to open dialogue for change.
Exactly.
We need this to happen in the scene if we want
And that's why I don't understand why it's a problem to talk about going into the right direction of having a positive change on this league.
Because Tom, and
why is that a problem?
You were where I was back before the CDL came out, where we addressed this issue. We said, hey, as a community, this is a problem. It's without a doubt a problem. It's been a problem. And with the CDL becoming the CDL, a majority of players, and y'all can speak to this, believed that with it becoming a franchise league now, that this issue was going to be at least addressed. There's obviously, it's a very complicated thing to take, to fully get rid of, but at least get addressed. But the problem is that from day one, when it was mentioned, when it was brought up, when suggestions were made, when everyone was alerted that this was a problem, it was a blind eye was turned to it and acted like, yeah, well, it's wrong, but there's just nothing that's going to be done about it, and that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem, and it's also that it's fucking public now. It's public. Fucking, you have Huke coming out saying shit. You have all these pros saying shit. Everybody's speaking their mind. And what you want me to sit here on my fucking knees and not say a fucking word and make me feel threatened? That's a problem. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are, man. That's not nice. That's not how I was raised. That's not me. Like, that's not. I'm not gonna sit here and act like and look like a fucking asshole in front of fucking 10,000 people. That's stupid. At the end of the day, there's problems that need to be fixed, and I love the league and I love Activision. I think they're gonna take the right steps to get this shit fixed and to get this shit on the fucking move, and to take this negative and turn it into a fucking positive. Why be quiet about something that's already public? That doesn't make any sense. And to put that on me, to make me feel like a fucking asshole, to make me feel like I can't say certain things is pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, I think
that just fucks with my heart, bro. That's stupid as fuck. That's stupid as fuck. Like, it just makes me, it just made me fucking embarrassed. It made me feel stupid, bro. Like,
what I don't understand is why would people even do that? It's just gonna make them look worse, and if anything, make the whole situation worse.
I haven't done anything but sit here and stream. All I've done is sat here streamed while everything's unfolding in front of my eyes. I can't control what people say and what they do. I can't do that. At the end of the day, I think for the most part, I think we're gonna change and try and take the right steps to make this league more positive. Because I think right now it's just
the way you gotta look at it is you just have a massive platform, and with all scandals and look, let's be honest about this, right? Like, this is a quote unquote scandal within the scene. This is like the fact that, and I like Kyler, and I'm not asking for Kyler to be punished or anything like that. That's not the decision I make. But the fact that a world champion, the current world champion, came out about this and said, hey, last year I was using this drug when I won whatever, it's a scandal, period. Like, that's a huge ordeal. So, I mean, I think, Tommy, you shouldn't be put in that position. Like, you should be able to say whatever the fuck you want to say about it, like you said, but they just want it to not be.
I mean, to even talk about the Adderall thing, it is very tricky. People could just go get it prescribed, you know what I'm saying? There's ways around it. Like, the Adderall thing has always been a tricky thing.
Well, that's the thing.
It's always been a tricky thing. It's hard.
The solution's unknown, but it has to be addressed.
Yeah. It's already been addressed. It's been addressed already. That's why I'm like, to make me feel like I'm the problem here.
I'm sorry. I meant by the league.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, 100% needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed. And the thing is just to put that on me. Or at least just make it feel like it, that I'm like, about to talk about this shit and put a bad look on the league or Activision. With all due respect, that's pathetic, man. That's pathetic. Don't make me feel like some fucking ass.
This isn't on you.
It's not on me.
It's on them. It's on them for not doing anything about it. They're compromising the integrity of their own league by, one, allowing this to not be addressed, and two, by trying to shut it out. Like, you're compromising the integrity of your own league. You're doing this to yourself.
And I feel bad.
And they shouldn't be putting it on them. And yeah, I feel bad for all the players, but I also feel bad for them.
I mean,
for having to deal with this stuff.
It's just stupid, bro. I mean, even for somebody like Ben, right? Like, I feel bad for Ben. Ben's getting thrown into this shit too. Like, bro, this is just stupid, man. This is fucking stupid. There's a clear problem. There's a clear problem right now, and it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be fixed. And I don't know if that might have ruined my future or whatever I was just being told, because I'm hearing things that my future might be ruined. But I don't give a fuck, man. Like, don't tell me that shit, bro. Like, with all due respect, I'm fucking live. The last thing I want to hear is shit like that. And if you're gonna threaten me, then that's a problem for. That already tells me that I need to walk in the other direction and just keep my pride and keep my head up and go in the other fucking direction, bro. Because that's bad news to me. That's bad news. I don't care who you are, bro. I don't care if you got billions of dollars. That shit don't matter to me, bro. That shit's weird. That's just weird. And
you wouldn't want to work in an environment yeah,
exactly. And now I just feel very uncomfortable, man. Like, I'm very uncomfortable, bro. Like, it's just weird. It's weird, man. I don't like that shit. I don't. Like, that shit's whack, bro. It's whack. I don't know, bro. Yo, Chris, you fucking talk about something, bro. I gotta step out, dude.
Oh no! Don't put the pressure on me, yo, Pat. Yo, you take the show, bro.
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is my first time ever on the flanks. Nice to meet y'all. I think Tommy is just frustrated that, he started this show and has had the freedom to discuss everything that he's wanted to discuss thus far about Call of Duty, the Call of Duty community, things occurring in the community. And this was the first time that a more serious topic has came up. And obviously, I mean, as many of you should be aware, that Activision PR is very serious about what they do. And this is probably a situation that they are unsure how they want to handle right now. And so they want to obviously, let it be known that they don't want it to be continued discussed because they're probably figuring out what they want to do behind the scenes. But as Tommy mentioned, I mean, he doesn't want to ever be put in that position where he is told that he can't discuss something. So yeah, that's why he had to take a break.
And that's just stupid because it should Tommy shouldn't have to feel this way, and anybody that wants to openly have a conversation about things like this, and I'm not even just talking about the drug usage. I'm talking about just anything that compromises the integrity of the league
I just
or
think
any competitive aspect
I just think
revolving
I had to
around
wash
any
my
sort
face,
of
bro.
Call
I
of
was
Duty,
full.
Activision thing. Like
the fact
even
that-
when people sorry Pat, it's even when people talk about things like anti-cheat and stuff like that, that's not in the game. All these things compromise the integrity of Call of Duty and in general, and they need to be discussed, because if we don't discuss them, if there's no platform
User
for it,
disconnected
then
from your
none of this
channel.
stuff will ever get changed.
I agree with you, but I think the big issue here is that this has been a ticking time bomb that, this league has allowed to unravel, right? Like, and this is the first time where someone, I mean, props to Huke for coming out and explaining his story and his situation, but this is the first time that someone has actually stepped up and been like, look, this is what happened. This was an issue I was dealing with, and now we're here. And like, now that it's finally came to light, I mean, I think
Yeah,
the fact that it's a sensitive topic is the problem. This should have and could have been addressed years ago, and it just continues to not be. And it's not just in Call of Duty. Let's be honest. I mean, this is a widespread thing across multiple esports that it is known that Adderall is being used to, I don't want to say allow people to play better, but it's being used with that mindset, and that is, by itself, that is cheating. You're using a drug that is
It's a
illegal if you're
PED,
not
period.
prescribed, and it's obviously an issue, and it's been an issue, and it's not been addressed to this point. And now, which is why I kind of made my post, I think, with Kyler coming out and saying like, hey, I dealt with this.
You have to.
I did
you
this.
have to.
Yeah, it has to be addressed.
Everybody
now,
has to talk
you can't
about
just
it.
continue to turn a blind eye
which
to
is
something
why it's ridiculous
that's
that
been an
people are
issue.
trying. People might. Certain people are trying to silence certain people, and I'm not sweating. I put fucking some hot water. I washed my face. You fucking assholes. I'm not sweating. I actually feel very good right now. I feel good because it feels good to just say whatever the fuck I want. I personally am tired with. I don't want to be censored, bro. I don't want to be censored. I'd rather go down that route of being able to speak my mind and be me and be who I am as a person and not have to feel like I'm somebody else. Like, I'm not, that's not me. I can't do that. Like, I personally cannot do that. I just get sick to my stomach. It makes me sick. So, like, at the end of the day, I think with all the news that came out, I think Activision and the league, and I think all of them, will take the right steps to make this league, better. It's the league is growing, and I think they need to take the next steps to fucking make it better, and hopefully they do that.
I gotta go scrim, so I'll see you guys later, Tom.
Yeah, later, Chris, later, bro.
You gotta go scrim. You've been chilling for like an hour.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta go play an S&D scrim. Gotta get my reps in. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, later, bro. So at the end of the day, Pat,
It's just me and you?
it's just me and you.
User
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I had to step away because I was just getting so flustered, bro. Like, I had to go wash my face, just put some fucking water in my face and just wash my face. Because it's just like, bro, it just pisses me off so much. Like, some of the shit that I was just hearing is just, like, mind-blowing to me. Like, it's mind-blowing to me. And, I don't know. It's just, like,
Hey, wake up.
it just blows my mind, like, the way certain people talk to you because they think they're more powerful than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not cool with me. Like, that don't sit right with me. You know what I'm saying, Pat? Does that make sense?
I feel you. I mean, especially, and honestly, props to you, bro. I mean, I know you started this show not too long ago, if I'm correct. I mean, and it's done super well. So, I mean, you obviously don't want something hindering you even going forward in the future. So I totally understand why you feel the way you do. And
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I wasn't even supposed to do this fucking thing, and I said no. That's not fair. I'm not doing that. Like I'm not
Yeah.
doing that. I'm not doing that, bro. Like I'm not turning off my stream so then everybody could just make me look like a fucking fool. Fuck that, bro. That's not me. Everybody in here knows that's not me. You know, you guys are in here every day. That's not what I do here, bro. That's not what I do here. And if that's gonna be a problem, if that's not gonna sit right with certain people, then so be it, man. Burn the bridge. Burn the bridge. But at the end of the day, all I've ever tried to do was help this league grow and try and help it become where it's at. You know what I'm saying, Pat?
I feel you, brother.
That's all it is. That's all it is, guys. You know, at the end of the day, I want to see this league get as big as it can get. I want this shit to hit the next level, and I will be here every step of the way. And anything Activision or Call of Duty League or any of the players, anything that I could do to help this shit grow and to make this shit bigger and better and more competitive and get this shit going in the right direction, I'm here to get it going. But I'm not going to shy away from the problems that are inside of it. You know what I'm saying, Pat? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel you, brother.
So I'm like, we'll just end it there. We'll end it there. At the end of the day, let's just make this league bigger and better, and let's just keep it moving, bro. Because I just don't want to talk in circles, but you can't silence me. That's all I'll say. I'm not gonna just sit here and look like an asshole. I don't like when people try to make me look like an asshole, Pat. I don't like that shit.
You don't look like a asshole, bro. You're handsome.
Thank you, Pat. You know, I miss you too, Pat. I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute, bro. What you been doing? What you been up to?
I mean, chilling, bro. Just chilling. I think what you asked is, I mean, a lot of people probably want to know, but I mean, I
What?
dabbled in challengers for like a couple months. I'd say probably like two to 3 months maybe.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I mean, here's my position. I've been doing this for over 11 years now. And so obviously, I was put in a situation last year, and I'm obviously not going to go into details, but I was put in a situation last year where, I kind of didn't get to play last year, so I was stuck doing nothing for a long time.
Yeah.
I was going to dabble with challengers this year, but in reality, I mean, playing for pro points or $500 every 2 weeks or whatever it is, just
Yeah.
I had no motivation to do that. I mean,
It's
I'll
not
be
the
honest.
same,
I've
bro.
been playing,
It's not
I've
the
been playing
same.
at the top for over a decade, so
Yeah.
there was just no passion or motivation behind playing. So I'm just chilling and kind of just waiting to see what happens with the league and how it plays out and what occurs. So
Yeah. No, 100%.
But just
I mean,
doing me,
I
other than
respect
that.
that. Honestly, I respect that because I was the same way. Like, I personally wouldn't be able to go from playing at the highest level for so many years to then like taking a step back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, I had fun for a little bit, but it was mainly because obviously, like I said, I didn't play for the last 7 months of last season, so it was just kind of fun for a little while. But it kind of hit me eventually that it's like that's just not enjoyable to me, man. I don't want to get on. I'm not having fun. It was kind of just like in a cycle because I mean, in reality, I mean, there's only 12 teams in this league, and even if I did, let's say I was fucking going hard as hell, like the likelihood that you're getting on a spot in this league right now is just, it was kind of just, I felt like a waste of time. So that's kind of what my stance was.
I'm here because I want to touch about what you're talking about, the challengers thing. Because I'm currently competing in challengers, and it's fucking miserable. The last thing I honestly want to do is compete in challengers. But I feel like if I don't compete in challengers, I'm chalking my career as a player. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as you take that step away, coming back in is nearly impossible.
Yeah, but what you don't understand, Zinni, is I had in a lot of people's eyes already did that last year. I remember. I mean, I was started out on LAG. I stopped playing in, I want to say it was February, and obviously, I mean, I didn't have an opportunity to play. If you remember how the rules were structured last year, so it was either get my money on my contract or give all that up and play in challengers. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna make the latter as part of that decision.
Yeah,
So
no, that makes sense.
I'd sat and did nothing for 7-8 months or whatever it was. So I didn't really have a choice. So it is what it is. But I get your point, and that's a valid point. But at the end of the day, the problem for me with the CDL was that it I don't think Call of Duty was ready for the CDL. There were, with the amount of talent in the scene and the amount of teams that it started with, I just think it was a super bad thing for a lot of players, and that's just what happened. I mean, that's not I don't have control over that, so that's just is what it is. But yeah, that's just kind of been my stance on it.
Nah, I mean it's probably been tough to deal with for sure. I mean, what do you do on a day-to-day basis? You just be investing and shit, just like chilling?
Yeah, I've actually took a lot of
I saw that scary ass tweet. You said you almost
steps.
lost like $4 million
No,
or
yeah.
something.
Well, I didn't. Well, okay, hold on.
I know you didn't
clarify.
actually lose it, but you thought you did.
Yeah, well, no. In my head, I was like, I know
User
I did nothing
disconnected
that
from
could
your
have caused
channel.
this, but for some reason, something went wrong, and I didn't know what went wrong. So I obviously saw mine is $4.5 million in debt. So that was for sure terrifying. But yeah, I mean, I've taken a big step on just financial education in general. So I would say if you ask me anything, what I've been doing the last few months is just investing in myself, bro. And I think that's
That's the
one of the most important thing that
bro.
anybody can do. Yeah. So.
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. Well, we talked about everything, right? I don't think there's anything much to talk about. I see Hector in the chat, man. Yo, Hex, you're the fucking man, bro. But yeah, we'll just end it there. The fucking show didn't make any sense today, but yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm gonna continue to stream, bro. I just want to play some games and just like not talk about this shit anymore, bro. So I'm probably gonna be streaming. I'm gonna be playing some games, but I'm gonna end the show there. So I appreciate you guys tuning into the show, man. Thank you to Aches, thank you to Zinni, thank you to Parasite. Shout out to Ben. I think Ben was left in a tough spot. I actually do feel for the guys, so don't say anything to Ben, but I appreciate you guys, man, and we're gonna keep on pushing, and we're gonna play some games. So I appreciate you guys who've been fucking with me since day one, and I fucking love y'all, man. Zoomaa for life, man. You know what I'm saying. Have a good day, guys. The flank is over. Yo, Pat, appreciate you coming on, bro. That shit was hard. It was hard to talk about. I'm losing fucking soul.
Yeah, no problem. What well, you're not live, right?
No, I'm live. I'm still live. I'm about to fucking